from very humble beginnings. I don't come from a racing family. I don't come from a family with money. As you guys can imagine, racing it can be very expensive, especially in the beginning when nobody believes in you besides your mom and your dad. There is no sponsors, there is nothing of that. And for me growing up, my dad had a restoration shop working in old cars for a living. And as you guys can imagine, you don't make a lot of money doing that. So for me, working in the shop with my dad, it was that's kind of like what I wanted to do. If you guys met the Daniel Suarez of 10 years old, I wanted to be a mechanic. I was passionate for cars. And one day it really changed my life when one of his customers' son was in racing and he invited me to go watch him. And at the time, I used to love cars. At the time, I was 10, 11 years old, and I was already working on cars, building transmissions, engines, and all these kind of things. And the very first time I got an opportunity from this person to jump in a go-kart, that was it. I was extremely passionate. I was fast. The father of my good friend told my dad that I was pretty good. But my dad was scared to get into racing because he knew how expensive it was, and he didn't have the resources or the sponsors or the contacts to really support me. So we started racing just as a hobby. He was my mechanic. We were putting the go-kart in an old pickup Chevy truck, and we were going to a racetrack, and that was kind of like how everything started. And what started as something fun and just quickly started to become a real thing. And shortly after I started winning races and things started clicking, I'm extremely blessed that my family made a lot of sacrifices for me. Putting a mortgage on my mom's home, my dad selling his business. My dad went all in for me. I think that probably he shouldn't have done that, but he did it, and it was special for me because if I didn't have the crazy dad that I have, I wouldn't have made it. So shortly after that, I was able to make it to the top series in Mexico, in NASCAR, and I was only 18 years old. And as a young kid, I wanted to see what else is out there. And I used to see all these races in NASCAR in the United States on TV, and that was like a dream, that was like superheroes seeing it there. And 95% of the people in Mexico, they used to tell me that there was not really an opportunity for Mexicans in NASCAR, and I didn't understand why at the time. And they tell me, Daniel, just keep going in Mexico, and in the US there is not really opportunities for you. And I started doing some research, and I understood that there was never been a Mexican driver full time in the top series of NASCAR with success, and I really wanted to make that change, make that difference, and I was able to grab my 1994 Volkswagen Beetle. I drove it all the way from Montreal, Mexico to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I started this journey to trying to pursue the American dream. The dream that it was not possible for a Mexican driver in the sport of NASCAR that, as you guys know, for many years is probably one of the most American sports. And shortly after that, I realized I was going to have to speak English to be able to make it into the US. I didn't speak English, so I didn't have the money to learn the language, so I had to learn English by myself, watching movies and watching cartoons and reading. I didn't have the money to pay for classes, so I have to taught myself English to understand, and here I am speaking to 1,500 people right now. Thank you for that. And shortly after that, I started to realize that this is exactly what I wanted to do, and that God gave me this opportunity to do something special. And I was fortunate enough to surround myself with great people, with great sponsors, and I was able to win races, win championships, become the first non-American to win a championship, become the first Mexican to do this, to do that, which was amazing. I love all those things. With that being said, I started to realize that my mission needed to be bigger than that. Winning race in a championship, that was amazing, and that was my main goal. But I started to understand that I was becoming a role model for a lot of people in the United States, not just Mexicans, but Latinos in general. I was doing different speeches in high schools, in college, and I started to understand that I was a role model, not just for people that like racing, but people in general, Latinos in general. And that's when I went with one of my very loyal sponsors, Coca-Cola, which they've been with me for 10 years now. And I got this idea. I got this idea of creating a program to bring Latinos to a racetrack and give them a unique experience and give them a unique contact with me to make them feel welcome. And they can make me feel welcome as well. And we created Los Amigos, a program to bring Latinos to a racetrack back in 2019. And since then, Coca-Cola, NASCAR, the racetracks, and some other sponsors of mine that they have been amazing to me. We've been able to bring thousands of Latinos to a racetrack. And now I'm very, very proud to say that many of them, they support me and they support the sport because there is one Mexican driver winning races out there. So I feel very, very proud for that. And I'm running out of time. The clock is already red. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I hope you guys having a great evening. Thank you so much for your love and support. Viva México y sigamos adelante.